What kind of cameras are these?
Well, so my contacts got so dry last night that like I've got these glasses, but they're like really obnoxious. So I don't like, they're for outside. So I'm like, so I can't really see until. I think they're Sony. Black Magic.
I got something on my mind, but words, they won't do it justice. I could write it on the side, but words, they won't do it justice.
How's it? Welcome to ICAN Talks. I'm Justin Chon. This is my dear friend Brian Mendoza, and we're gonna talk about
Directing.
yes.
I wanted to start out because I was like, you do the intro, and then I'll volley the first question.
Okay.
What got you into directing?
Necessity. Dude, I remember one time early on, like when I was just acting, my dad was like, you know, why don't you think about doing something more, like writing or direct? I was like, that's impossible. Dad, you don't understand. That's impossible. Like, no, like, so I don't know. It was out of necessity though.
Did you think it was impossible too, or
no? I thought it was impossible. Not my dad was suggesting it, like, try to,
and you just didn't. You didn't like. There's no
zero chance.
So what was that first like inch to like? You know what? I'll just pick up a camera, or
It's well, the thing is like you, growing up, people would always give me the camera, and I was a filmer, right? Skate videos,
Yeah.
like, you know, and
Yeah.
I know that you grew up in Tahoe, right?
yeah,
And snowboarding, but yeah, I was always so I always
Same.
loved, and I never cared, like, I never really cared about like getting filmed. Like, I was always like, okay, yeah, you go off the jump, I'll try,
Yeah.
I'll go on your side, and but you know, like, as soon as I started acting, we were making tiny shorts that, like, just for fun,
Yeah.
you know, all the time. But you know, and then, like, it was like hitting a glass ceiling with the acting. You're like, is this my life? Like, this is gonna be it? Like, being the expository tech dude. And
well, also do like, maybe, I don't know how much you guys get into this, but like on the acting side, there's a lot more waiting around. Did you like
Yeah.
that aspect of it?
No,
or
I
were you
hated
like,
that. I hated that, and I hated having no input and people not wanting suggestions.
yeah,
And I, you know, I mean, there's one like seminal moment where I was on a show, and this veteran TV director, he'd been around for decades, and he was having trouble blocking a scene, and to me it was pretty clear, like, maybe what we should do. So I raised my hand. I was like, hey, you know, and he just like cold stopped me. Was like, whoa, what are you here to do? And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you here to do? I don't, what? And he was like, what are you getting paid to do here? I'm like, act. He's like, exactly. So shut the fuck up and stay in your place.
jeez,
And I was like,
jeez.
why does this guy have the keys to drive the car? I mean, like, but yeah, you know,
Like, that shot's not even great. What are you talking about?
yeah. I mean, how about for you? Like, you know, growing up, Tahoe with your brother, and
I was like, I always thought I was gonna like go and be a professional snowboarder, and I grew up doing like this skate. I just made skate videos and
Yeah.
snowboard videos with my friends, and you know, on DV cameras, taping like the wide angle lenses to the cameras, like
yeah.
that. Like, it was just like, and I grew up watching skate videos,
Yeah.
and just all like, I went out. The year after I graduated high school, I was up living in the mountains in Tahoe, and I was like, I realized one specific day that, like, you know what, I don't think I've got it in me to try to go after a professional career in snowboarding. Like,
Yeah.
the skill set was just like, it was at like, this was like 97, 98, and like the skill set really was advancing, like,
Yeah.
with the maneuvers and stuff. And so I was just like, kind of went back to going like, well, I really liked holding the camera. I was always the one shooting, like you were, like, and
Yeah.
I just enjoyed it. And so I then just like was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go try to pursue this. And like, had no idea really what it was, except the fact that I just really enjoyed it. So,
Yeah, I think that's how it starts for a lot of people. Is like you're just holding. I was the quintessential annoying guy with the camera, like, and I was always being super annoying with it, like, you know, and I, like you, I had a mini DV, all sorts of mini DV cams, but like, you know, when Sony came out with the tiny, like, they look like a little rectangle
yeah,
with the you know, it was mini DV tape, and like it was like a game changer because you can carry it with you everywhere. It was a little tiny thing, but like, man, like you, I just was like always filming whatever.
it was like
such a
the cameras. One thing that I've like is so great now is the cameras are so much better. Like it was one thing when you like start picking up the DV camera and going like, okay, this is great, I'm gonna shoot, and then you're like, but where's my depth of field? Where's that sort of
but
cinematic look?
But at the time, what was cool about those cameras, they had the night mode, turned everything green.
Yeah.
So you could shoot at night, even though it was like a shitty, like, small camera. You could flip on the thing, you could shoot at night. Now with the Sony, you shoot in the dark. But like any other camera, like anything from Red or whatever, you gotta have a light. You gotta have lights. But back then it was just like flip on the switch.
Totally.
It was like, yeah, everything was, you know, like the glowing eyes and stuff.
Yeah. I used to love. I mean, those cameras were great. Yeah, I went to I remember going to the Glendale Galleria. I had moved to LA and I got a job at Judge Judy. It was like the first job I got. I was a PA, and when I just got a credit card, and I was like, you know what? I walked into, it was the first Apple store ever, by the way, in Glendale Galleria. Went in, and I had like a $5,000 credit limit, and literally inside the store there was like a sign that said like something like filmmaker kit, and literally it was like Final Cut Pro. Yeah. The computer it had, and it's actually where it was a Canon GL2. I can't remember. I remember. Yeah. And it had that. It was like all on display, and I just was like, I'll take all of that. I was like, how much is it? And they're like, something like 5,000, like a little bit more. And I was like, that was like the first charge I ever did. I was like, because my philosophy was like, how are you supposed to get good at anything if you can't practice it? Yeah. And I was like, I've got to try to like buy the equipment, and then it became just self-taught. Yeah,
that was like my hustle too, was going on Craigslist and buying like a Canon XL1 or whatever, like, and then you use it for a few months, and you get like, you max it out in terms of like learning everything, and then like before it goes down in value too much, you sell it. That was my thing, because then I'm like, okay, I get to kind of like rent the gear essentially. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I remember those days. Like, it was first Apple stores were the iMacs and the colorful backs, right? It was it
was just a little bit like after like the reboot. It was like I forget what kind of computer it was, but it was still it was like the phase of like the translucent sort of Apple period.
The colorful period.
But I wonder if it's something that because I know you are very specific about the equipment that you use, like if it's the camera, and like you're very much in tune to how the camera captures, and what's the post process, like what's that like, how involved are you in that?
I'm like all of us, we're all nerds. We all like geek out about like gadgets and all that stuff. So like, just simply because of that, like I'm super into it. But you know, at a certain point, you're like, you start. It does matter in the end, but like, does it really? You know, like, you know, you know, like there's certain like things that you start liking, but
like the film that you're in production on, or you finished production on, you guys shot that on the Komodo, right?
So we shot that. No, so Panavision is the best, and you know they were on Chief of War as well. Yeah. But Panavision, me and Matt went to them and said, hey, we're doing this thing. It's going to be like no budget, and they loaned us probably like $3 million worth of equipment for free.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So because of that, me and Matt both have a Komodo.
yeah.
So that was like car mounts, like anything that had to do with
That's
like,
why there's a car mount. Got it.
yeah. But Matt in the beginning, because I had this really shitty tripod, and we'd be out where it's kind of windy on the beach, and like he would just constantly complain. He'd be like, "What the fuck? Why do I gotta like this is a piece of shit? Like, can we get a So he was super annoyed. But we shot most of it on Alexa 35 because I just love that sensor.
Yeah.
And
it's a beautiful sensor.
And we both shot Chief, and that was interesting because we were, there's so many advantages to the Red, and then there's also advantages to Alexa, and that whole ecosystem is but I gotta say though, when you have an awesome colorist, I don't know, man. That's why it's like to a certain there's like a threshold, and then after that it's like you have an amazing colors. Like, does it really make that much of a difference? It does.
I've noticed. Yeah. I don't know if like the regular audience would be able to tell the difference, but yeah, you can tell, I think, a little bit of the difference.
I mean, especially if you're on like a super high-end OLED, you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
But projected like it was last night,
yeah,
I think it'd be hard to tell. And so okay, so you met Jason, and you guys made that film Road to Paloma. Was that the first thing you guys kind of put together that you did on your own?
Yeah, that was like we've like I've known Jason, was friends with him before, and then he got done with a show called Stargate Atlantis, and he wanted to take control of his career and wanted to direct.
Yeah.
And I was just left. I was working as a producer at HBO, and I had just come across working on a photo project with Bruce Davidson, this Magnum photographer. So I was getting into cinematography and photography at the same time. And so he was like, it was like this really great marriage, because he's like, okay, I want to do a short film. So he directed it, I shot it, and then we both produced it. And during the process of doing the short film, which we shot on the Red One,
oh my God,
he got Conan.
Yes.
And then he ended up like, so I went to Bulgaria with him for 5 months, and we just like kept jamming with ideas and started working on sort of the concept of what the Road to Paloma was going to be. And had these writers, Robert Mulholland and Johnny Hirschbein and Jason, they were working on the script.
Yeah.
And then we just went out and tried to make it, but we created this reel. Like, so we would go out, wake up at like 4 a.m. and drive out to the Mojave Desert and anyone who lives in LA knows it's like an hour and a half drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we would drive out and we would just shoot like blue light, sunrise, like just beautiful scenes from the script that we had. And then we took it out to try to pitch, and nobody wanted it. Like 2 weeks of pitches, nobody wanted it. And then the last place we went to this place called Boss Media, and this guy was like, said, you know what? And all we needed was we wanted $500,000 for it, and the guy was like, you know what? I'll give you 100,000 right now, and go shoot half of it. And if it's good, then we'll give you the rest of the money. If it's not, you're on the hook for 100,000, and you got to pay back in a year.
Oh.
And like for anyone this is like Jason was like had no job, no work. Like this is like not even Game of Thrones, and like he really it was just like there was just like a moment of like, do you bet on yourselves or not? And that was like where we were like, you know what, let's go do this.
That's awesome.
And we shot on the Canon 5D, and we had no idea that it was gonna work or not. Like it was just like you just read in the filmmaker magazines, I think at that time I don't even know if anyone did. But we went and sort of made that, and that was like 3 years of our lives where we made zero money.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. No, that's I'm still doing that.
But it's an amazing experience.
It's
something that, like, when I say that, I don't mean that like that I didn't enjoy it or whatnot. It's just that you have to sort of, I think you have to embrace that's certain things that it's not about the paycheck.
Yes,
Which
100%.
is crazy. Probably
Yeah.
my family members are going, well, what is wrong with you? Wife is like, what do you mean it's not about? But
Oh my God.
it is
yeah.
it's about the art, right?
100%. I mean, yeah, the film I shot earlier in the year, like, it's not a paycheck. And like Matt, our DP, was so angry at me, man. Like, because he just kept, like, every other day he would just start like muttering under his breath. He's like, I got duped. And I'm like, bro, he's like, you told me only weekends. He's like, but I was like, yo, I didn't know, like, my daughter's in the film. I didn't know that she had like a hard shut off switch at like a certain time. We can only do this if we shoot half days. She just doesn't last. He's like, this is way more than I signed up for. And, you know, and no more, like, you know, but I, you know, big thing is like, I made a point that I'm going to work harder than everybody. Like, first one in, last one out. Like, I will lug the equipment. I will fucking care. Like, I will store I will unload everything out of the car and put it in my house and reload it every day before they get. But like, I feel that, you know, what you guys did with that film and what we all do with any film, it's like, I think it keeps you in the game. I think it keeps your head in the right place, because, you know, I mean, and I've experienced this, like, you do a show or movie with somebody that actually has a budget, and then you get on set again with that same person, and I'm not talking about Matt, but like, you get on set with that same person, and then it's like, where's this, where's that, and you're like, yo, we were just in the back of a pickup truck
get what we needed.
Yeah, getting what we needed a year ago. What are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, dude.
I mean, just so everybody knows, Matthew Strong is, you know, you have a collaboration with him, who's a cinematographer that goes back to, what was the first one you guys said?
So we met a while ago through a wardrobe designer I work with, Eunice, and she was like, there's this new Taiwanese Australian kid in town. He's really talented. You should have lunch. And I remember meeting him, being like, oh, who is this? He had the long hair, and I was like, okay. So we met in Thai Town in LA. We had food, but I always thought he was so talented and loved him. But like, yeah, the first actual shoot was Blue Bayou, and which
is a beautiful film. Such an amazing film.
Thank you. But it wasn't even greenlit or anything. And I was like, if we wait for this thing to be greenlit and then they're expecting us to only have like a few weeks prep, we're gonna be screwed. So like, let's both pay our own way. And it's the same thing, man, for everybody. And then it was like, you know, they were saying they didn't want to go union or whatever. So we're like, okay, what's the next best? So we spent over a month, me and him, in like an Airbnb in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Amazing.
Oh man. So I really relate with you and Jason, because I feel like there's so many parallel experiences.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely bonded over like that, chasing art, trying to push a boulder up a hill to try to make something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Also just like the partnership and just being ride or die. You know, I mean, even at that time, you know, I was so skinny at the time, so I was putting on weight. So Matt, God bless him, man. He would have to come with me to go eat like just chicken, like whole chickens, like at a barbecue place. And he's, you know, he never complained once. He was just like, you know, eating the same thing over and over, like just never complain. And we would just be, you know, I don't even know what we were doing. We're just like scouting. And you know, when you're in that moment, and I'm sure you guys feel like this, you know, when you go out to the Mojave Desert or whatever, where you're like, okay, we're doing something, but I don't know quite what we're doing, and I hope all of this somehow pans out. But you're here, I'm here, and
I mean, we sort of did that on this Chief of War. Like, I mean, we did. You know, so there was that same mentality of like, let's just go do this.
It was the same thing, because I was like trying to convince Matt. I was like, if we wait for this thing, we didn't know when it was going to go or whatever. And you know, everybody was okay with Matt. So then I was like, can you just fly here? And, you know, I pay for meals, whatever. Can you just fly here and we can start? So even before we started doing anything else, like he was out here and me and him were going to like the West Side and we're like, okay, if we shot this, like literally, we don't even know if the show is going to happen, but we were at the Makua Beach. And we're like, okay, if we shot the battle scene here, we're just like trying to figure it out. Man, this beach is really big though. Like we can't use wide. It's not enough people to probably. But I remember, you know, Jason was like, I'm gonna put my credit card down so Matt can have a hotel to stay at. And we're like, oh my God, thank God. And then I remember being on the North Shore and. Okay, we're it's a vacation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like, and then once we all got together, we're like basically Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
In a house, just like in helicopters and oh my God, dude, what a insane
that's
trip.
right.
Yeah.
The helicopters.
Yeah, dude. Without
with
doors.
Renan,
yeah. And dude, God bless Renan. He's such a mensch, man. He's the real deal, man. I so enjoyed getting to know him and what a true like artist.
Yep.
You know, wow. But that's the wonderful thing about filmmaking and doing all this is like we all get to meet each other. And
I think it's also like you know, there's the community where you turn and you rely on people. I mean, you know, they came like Renan and Taylor, they came out and, you know, like for nothing to like shoot B-roll. I mean, for anybody, it's Renan Ozturk and Taylor Reese, and they are like these Nat Geo, like phenomenal filmmakers, directors in their own right. And they're like, yeah, we'll come out and we'll spend a couple days in Hawaii and we'll shoot some B-roll for you guys. And I was just like, wait, what? Really? For like nothing. And it was
so incredible. But that spirit is so beautiful, and I feel like it's the essence of like true filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know, you think about like 70s filmmaking where, you know, you see all the masters, but at the time it's just like they just would go out and, you know, shoot these now iconic films, but at the time I'm sure it felt somewhat similar to what we're doing, you know, like whether it's like Altman or, you know, like I don't know, like any of those incredible films, Easy Rider, you know, but like I would imagine that it must have felt like no one was doing it really for the money. Like they're not getting paid crazy dollars.
No.
And that's how I don't know.
It's for the love.
Yes, that's how you know like who's real and who's in it for the real deal. Like is when there's no money involved.
Like, what am I doing? So tell me, like, I know we're supposed to talk about like a bunch of different things, but like, what was it like, you know, getting the call to do Chief? Because we were just kind of the spawn because of talking about heart, and I think there was a lot of heart that went into this project by many people.
I was living here, in Hawaii, and I really, if I was going to do anything in Hawaii, it had to not be, using this place as a setting or like, you know, and when this came up, I was like campaigning hard. I was like, how can I be a part of this? Because it's, how rare is it to do something in the studio system that actually means something and is about something, and you just happen to serendipitously also be living in the location. Like, I don't care if I was living in Russia, you know, if I heard about this, I would have been, you know, Hawaii is such a special place to me. I was just like campaigning hard. So I did the meetings with Jeno and Tracy and then you know, early on, like talking with Jason, he likes to do FaceTime. And then you're like, hey, and then he was like, you like vodka? I'm like, yeah, I love vodka. He's like, check this out. And he's like at the distillery or whatever. yeah. He's like, you know, in you know, what is it? Montana, Wyoming, Montana.
Wyoming.
Yeah.
Oh no, Montana. Sorry.
Montana. And then he's like, check this out. Like, you know, I'm going to send you a case. Like, and then him scoping me out for like, you know, him just being like, I don't know you, you know, like kind of thing. And me being like, dude, I know you don't know me, but I promise you, like my heart and my head is in the right place and I will fucking die for you if given the opportunity. You know, but I mean, with this for you, I mean, I'm sure you were watching this develop from the beginning, right?
I was like in the original like pitch. And it was with Francis Lawrence when it was Jeno and Pa'a and Jason and then it like kind of, you know, it's got into the development and I went off to do a Netflix film and I was also like, you know, for me, I don't want to be a part of a project of if I don't have any value. And at the time, like, you know, Francis works with the same people, has his own team, and I was like, you know. I was like, you know, I don't know where to fit in here.
Yeah.
And then when he had to drop out, was when then Jason called me up and was just like, I need you here. I need you to be a part of this. And I was like, okay. And little did I know that it was going to be almost 4 years of it. But I think it, like, I remember just the early days and scouting and knowing that this was something special. I remember just with like me, you and Matt and Doug and Pa'a, and there was trials and tribulations, but those come when you have people that care.
Yes.
It's when people are just sort of like there for the paycheck or whatever, it can sometimes run more smoothly because there's 100%. Not, but I think everybody was just like, this needs to be elevated to, we need to do it right. And you did such an amazing job helming that from the get-go. Like, I just remember like going into the production office and the passion that you had and how much care and you had for Hawaiian culture and how much you wanted to make sure it was done right. It was really beautiful to see and watch. And that, you know, along with Jason and his enthusiasm, but Jason, you know, is jumping from project to project, so he's able to do it from afar, but you need that person like that's like on the ground, and like you did such a great job. I think laying that out for everybody, like, this is the level, this is what we have to reach, and you've like fought on every level.
But, you know, I mean, thank you. But it's like, in this project, I felt like as much difficulties as we faced, we had enough of us running the same race. So, you know, having, you know, just from the get-go, you being there and everything, it was like, okay, like there's support here and we're going to have to battle, you know, with various forces for whatever to get to, but I never felt, that was the thing about this project, is I never felt alone. I definitely felt like you were right alongside, and we were doing it together. It was really helpful that we had Matt.
Yeah.
Because if I was forced to hire somebody I didn't know, you just when you haven't gone to war with somebody, like, you don't know for sure.
No.
You don't know behind the scenes what their intentions are, and we've all been in weird situations where you're like, wait, what? I would have never thought he would say or do this, but like, you know, having you and Matt, I always felt like, okay, well, I feel like I can push hard.
Yeah.
Because there's other people who are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm just the psycho odd man out, like pushing for something that, and you know, like when it is like that, because I have been in those situations, it feels so futile. You're like, what's the point? But I never felt like that with this.
Yeah.
And you know, like you were talking about when we did those like Kauai, like the Kauai trip or any of those prelim sort of scout missions, like it was like we were a cohesive like SEAL team going out to try to do it, you know? So, I mean, you know, I so appreciated you and your support. And I always felt like, okay, I know like Brian's, you know, got all of our backs if it comes down to it, and is going to also speak up when things are messed up and crazy. You know, I mean, especially when it's in the system, it's so hard because you don't know. Everybody has their job to do from the top down, but it might not be the same job as yours.
Yeah.
And that, you know, it's the battle of the wills, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's battling to prove what they're thinking is the correct way.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know, but only time will tell. And that's the thing about us as filmmakers is you only get vindicated if it's good.
So true.
If it's terrible, like you're in a world of pain, dude. You're in big trouble. And thank God, at least for this project, we all came out on the other side feeling great about it. And but then also like the powers, you know, in place also feel the same way. You're hoping, but Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, you came in and you were supposed to do just 2, and then you ended up being like...
I was actually only supposed to do 1. They were like...
Oh, that's right.
Remember we were like...
Yeah.
One of the directors was off shooting another thing, and so what they do is they get the production will go get a waiver.
Yeah.
And so I was shooting these scenes from these other episodes, and it wasn't till I think it was only a couple days before shooting scenes from episode 8 that like the DJ finally came back and was like, told the production, they're like, no, we're not giving you a waiver. There's plenty of directors out there that can do this. We're not going to give a waiver for you to. And so then that's when I got 8, and yeah, it was a really interesting process.
But that was, I mean,
it was great.
You're the true clutch, like, hero, because you literally have a fingerprint on all of it, you know, and that's so incredible. I mean, that's super, you know, and that's the biggest lesson I learned from you on this was, take as much responsibility as you can humanly handle. Yeah. Like, that's what I learned from you, watching you work, because, you know, I can be such a little fucking bitch sometimes and be like, you know, I don't want to, I just want to focus on my thing. And, you know, you just start to be super insular and selfish. But watching you work, I was just like, what am I doing? I mean, man, I should have just been around every day, you know, because you were, you know, and I was like watching you, and you were just like, just give me the responsibility. And what I learned was, man, if I were just doing what you were doing, I would have probably got even better as a filmmaker just through this process, because I could have just intaked so much more information and scenarios and whatever. But you were such a...
I think like, I mean, first, I've known, you know, Pa just as like, I was there when he met Jason, and we were going to do another film together, and I just knew the importance of this, almost to like, I was scared shitless. Like, there's like, you know, especially when you're shooting here and you're just looking at the crew, and it's their story.
Yes.
And I was like, I just was so afraid of messing it up, that I like literally terrified and wanted. But I think what was great about this process is like, I was watching you shoot and direct, and like you had a specific style, and that is something that like I embraced with like the way that you move the camera. was very specific. It was very efficient, by the way, like that I don't think production really figured out right at the beginning, because it's like you don't do traditional coverage. And this entire show doesn't have traditional coverage. The camera, and that was something that, not that I shot traditionally beforehand, but like I was watching the way that you and Matt were moving the camera, and that was defining the style of the show. And it was something that was like, okay, I want to be able to emulate that. I want to be able to, so that when the viewer's watching it, there's a cohesiveness to it that feels the same. And there's this unpredictability. And that's what I like. I don't like watching stuff that you are like, oh, I'm going to the over the shoulder close up, or the, like, I tend to like, I feel like I'm getting ahead of the story. And the way that you guys remove it, which is, I love the way that, I love trying to move the camera like that, where it's constantly an evolution into something new as the episode is progressing. And I thought, like, I mean, you look at like episode 1 and 2, and there's not one shot frame that is similar to the previous one, like you know, with like going back to the same thing.
But you know, that's what I really love about filmmaking, is like we can sit and have a conversation about like, and it's tangible things. You know, I remember early on we were sitting in Matt's office and we were just talking about the photography of it all, and just like being a part of the film community and being like, okay, we're doing our thing now. But like, I remember we were talking, I think we were talking about references and stuff. And you know, what's his name? The cinematographer, Tolan, he did, you know, Legends of the Fall. He was like
John
Toll, master of, you know, harnessing the sun.
So,
and I remember you and I having a conversation, and it was just like, you know, trying to figure out what we're trying to do, and the references, and you know, it's just like nerd talk. You get excited about like, okay, yeah, you know, move the camera like this, and you know, constantly like, okay, the backlight, and how are you gonna, you know, throughout the day chase the sun. But that's what I love about filmmaking.
Oh my gosh, like I've said it before. I was in an interview yesterday on like the carpet trying to explain it, but like the lights were there and I was just fumbling the story. But like there was this moment in episode 1 where we're on the west side and the lights, the sun's coming through. It's like towards the end of the day, the sun's coming through so beautifully. There's no clouds in the sky. It's giving this great flare on the camera, and it's when Te'ao is putting the cape on Jason and getting them ready for battle. And I saw you and Matt moving around, picking up the shots, picking up like the just everything from, you guys just knew, we're so linked and knowing like what to get and moving so quickly, because you like, you know, this, you have like 5 minutes to get this thing that like you couldn't get in traditional setups. You had to just move the camera around, and then it ends with them walking, you know, out to the beach, and then getting that one shot that's in the trailer of Te'ao and Maine putting the heads together, and that was all in a oneer, and that was like so. I master class in watching something get together. There's something special that came. But you know, at that moment,
to talk about that day specifically, though, it's like, I knew it was going to be a rush no matter what, because the sun was coming on the west side. But the big thing was, I had way less time than I was hoping for.
Oh, really?
Because what happened was we had to do this scene before. You know, it's like when you're chasing the sun, like, and especially doing television, you have so many scenes you have to do in a day. And you know, we were doing a scene where all of them are jumping off the boat, the va'as and stuff, and I don't know, Jason for some reason in his mind like had a issue with like the order of who was in front of who in the va'a. And you know, I have no problem with that, but it's just like, you know, sometimes like this is filmmaking. It's like, it's a collaboration. So like you're dancing in the moment, and then time starts to slip through your fingers. And I just remember being like, at that moment being like, oh my God, this is taking way longer than I needed it to. And then you're constantly looking at your watch and you're like, okay, we're gonna have to jam, we're gonna have to dance, right? And it's like, so then but that's what's so important about having gone to war with somebody is then you go, hey friend, come over here real quick, look at me, we're gonna, you know what's up, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, then it's just like, fucking, you know, set up the cameras, put on the sliders, you know, like, remember we said we want to shoot through like broken glass? We'll fucking set that up, but like you know, and it's like, put the lens baby on, and like, you're just like, let's go. And then it's like, have the other camera set up so it can be but like, that's the sort of jazz of it all, right?
It's
and it's so
like,
fun. It's so fun, but I live for those moments. Like, I guess sometimes, Ian, you're the same way. You're like, let's go.
We had this when we in New Zealand. We were doing the top of the Halua sled, and they have to. We had it on the crane where they had to jump over.
Yes,
and
which is an amazing shot.
We were down to the last 10 minutes, and Jason Ellison, we had the AD just going 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and like just repetitive. And I was like, the sun was coming down, and I was like, I had the sense of calm for some reason. I was like, it's gonna work out. Like, it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
We got 3 tries at it, and it,
but that shot's amazing. Where they're jumping over the it's amazing shot. And but it is those moments where you're like, this is what it's about. Yeah. And I know you embrace that. You're super into, you know, like, you are in those moments so stoic. I don't know what's going on inside, but
I enjoy a little chaos. Yeah, me too. I mean, to a certain degree, controlled chaos, I would say. But I also like, I love at the end of the day, after shooting. It's one of my favorite things. Like, to be able to, especially when you're on location and you can go meet up with. This is why I like French hours. Like, I love working 10-hour days over, because you have a chance to go get dinner or something with people, and it's like this, like, everything's like, you just comes off the weight, everything that you go into the day. Like, every day I'm stressed, like, no matter what, like, and you feel that off, and it kind of, and I just love that feeling. It
is the sort of tribal, sort of beautiful, crazy sideshow thing about filmmaking is like having those moments. And like, that's why I felt like me and Matt, you know, colliding with you and Jason was such a beautiful, because I think our philosophies were so similar that it is that at the end of the day, it's like, you give each other, like, for better or worse, give each other the hug. And then it's like, oh, let's go have a brew, and then just either complain or pat each other on the back.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time it's usually like, I'm probably replaying it, but it's still, there's a sense of like, went to war. Every day is a sense of a battle. Yes. I don't want to compare it to like actual war, but there's a battle every day. Yeah. And there's something really satisfying by making it through.
Yes, 100%.
Almost masochistically.
And you know, no better title for a show than Chief of War. Oh, dude. And you know, I mean, just meeting everybody else, like Brian, Keaulana, Angie, like everybody here is just, I mean,
real quick, like Angie and Brian, this show would not be done, like, could not exist without them.
100%. You know, real quick, because I know we're winding down, but like, before I got this job, I was just trying to get the lay of the land. I want to meet all the heavy hitters on the island. So then, you know, my friend Yama, like, I was like, who I got to meet? And he was like, oh, you got to meet Uncle Brian. I was like, okay. So then he helped me set it up to meet him. Yeah. I went over to Mukua, and he just was like, you know, very stoic. Got 2 beach chairs out of the back of his truck, and just like was like, sit. And then we just sat on the beach. And it was before I even got Chief, and we just talk story, you know, as they say, and like, you know, getting to meet this legend and such a basically Hawaiian royalty, you know, even in the surf community and everything. And then like being like, hey, I'm gonna work with you on Chief. It was just like such a cool sort of, you know, that's what I really cherish about, especially Chief of War. This show is just people welcoming me into their fold, and we feel like we're part of something bigger and meaningful, and part of a community and a tribe. You know, I am forever grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. They carry them, like Brian and Angie, like they do such a great job leading the charge, embodying what Hawaiian culture should represent,
100%.
how the story should be told. So and they're the ones that scared me too.
Yeah. Okay, I think
that's it.
Yeah, I think.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
ICAN Talk. Yeah. Support ICAN. You know, they're doing a lot of beautiful stuff for the community and the islands, and please support and
thanks for pairing me up with an ex-actor that can do the intros and the outros.
But
man, it's great to talk to you, dude.
Dude, likewise. I love you, brother.
Love you too, bro.
Yeah.